Hey guys, Red Wizard here. So we're going to do something a little bit different today. I want to go over the lack of mortals in the Slaanesh release. And I have some pretty strong feelings about it. Maybe unreasonably strong. So I've been going back and forth on what kind of video I want to do, but in the end I decided I just wanted to do both. So how we're going to do this is we're going to have a high road video and a low road video. So the high road, of course, we're going to stay civil. We're going to talk about why I feel disappointed in the lack of mortals, and maybe why I think other people might feel that way, and what they could do better maybe for future releases. And the low road is just going to be more of a raw, unfiltered rant. So I'm going to give you a pause here and let you make your decision of which road you want to travel down. If you want to stay on the high road and be a fine, upstanding citizen, you can stay here with me and we'll go through my thoughts on the matter. If you want to take a trip down the gutter, go ahead and click off this video and find the low road video, which will be uploaded at the same time as this one. Okay? Alright, so you've chosen to stay on the high road. Good for you. We're going to have a nice civil conversation here. So why are a lot of people really upset? So I can speak for myself first, and I think a lot of people may feel similarly to me. And that's that I play almost exclusively Chaos Mortal stuff, so I've really been looking forward to Mortal Slaanesh pretty much since the beginning of Age of Sigmar. I know that there are a lot of people out there that have been waiting for Slaanesh for a lot longer than that, so it's obviously it's disappointing when you have an expectation that isn't met, right? So that's something I kind of want to talk about, because I was talking to someone online earlier today, a friend of mine that I don't know if they want to be identified, so I'm not going to say their name, but we were kind of talking about the expectations, and if if we are responsible for the expectations that we have, or if GW should be responsible, or maybe not responsible. Maybe responsible is the wrong word, but if they should be mindful of that, right? And what I mean here is that Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh are all Chaos Gods, obviously, right? And because of how those other armies were treated, we kind of built an expectation of what we were going to get with Slaanesh. So Khorne got the Bloodbound, obviously. They had a big release. We know that Khorne is kind of the main antagonist, at least at the beginning of Age of Sigmar. So we understand that we might not get as big of a release as Khorne, but Nurgle also got the Rotbringers, right, and Tzeentch got the Arcanites, right? So all the three other gods, which we're very similar to, got mortal support. Okay. Also in the lore, a lot of it, there hasn't been a lot of Slaanesh lore, right? But the little bit of Slaanesh lore that we have had has been, I think there were a couple stories about mortal champions looking for Slaanesh, and they're definitely present in the lore. So I think that it's a reasonable expectation to think that when Slaanesh eventually got a release, that there would be a mortal side of it, right? Excuse me. Also, for the other three releases, a lot of the demon stuff has been around for a long time, right? They're old kits, which they obviously, all the greater demons have been getting a new kit, and the Keeper of Secrets, the new Keeper of Secrets is great, and we're glad that exists. But the main part of a lot of the other releases were mortal, right? Because the demon stuff was already there. So I think it's a pretty reasonable expectation to think that you're going to get at least some mortal support with the Slaanesh release, okay? So people pretty much, at least me, kind of took it for granted. Like, yeah, when Slaanesh comes out, we're obviously going to get a few mortal kits. And for us players that like the mortal stuff, that's what we've been waiting for and been excited about, speculating and all that for years. So to get only the demons was pretty disappointing, and it just feels kind of like a incomplete release. Okay, and I know we got some new models, and they're they're nice models. The Keeper Seeker is probably one of the best models they've done in a long time. I'm not gonna say it's not. Some of the other ones I could kind of, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the Demonette look, but the other stuff, the Demon Prince and the Keeper, was great, and the other stuff, the Demonette type things look like Demonettes, so we expected that, right? But really, it just doesn't seem like there's that many units. I mean, maybe it might be comparable to other non-chaos releases, like Iron Jaws or something. I had an Iron Jaws player tell me I was overreacting because they have an old book and they only have a few model kits, so we should just be happy. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can kind of see that, but also not really. Because we're a chaos god, right? We're one of the 4 chaos gods, and I feel like the expectation to be treated similarly to those other 3 releases is not out of this world or anything. Okay, so maybe that's on us. Maybe we shouldn't have that expectation based on what's happened in the past. I don't know. I feel like it's a fairly reasonable expectation. But anyway, I can see the argument that, hey, you really, they didn't promise you anything. But I don't know. I feel like they kind of did through their other releases. Anyway, now I'm rambling. So let's get on to why I think that we didn't get Mortals. And I don't think this is like any groundbreaking thing. It's because Warcry is coming around the corner, and they probably took whatever Mortal stuff they were going to do for Slaanesh and just put it in Warcry, because Warcry can be sold to a larger audience, right? So why would we sell this thing as only Slaanesh when we can change it a little bit or whatever? I mean, I don't know. I'm speculating, of course. And we'll put it in Warcry, and then everybody can have it, and we can sell to a lot more people. I mean, that's what it feels like to me right now, and that kind of makes me feel bad. That to me is not cool, right? Because it feels, like you're getting shortchanged, even though you might really not be in the long term. It really, what I think the issue for me is a couple things. So the first thing is that this sounds ridiculous, but when you get your book that you've been waiting for, it's kind of like your special time, all right? It's like your birthday or something. It should be a time where you're excited. You finally got this thing that you've been waiting for. Everything's great and wonderful. There might be, there's always going to be a few things where you maybe didn't get exactly what you want, but overall, it's this nice time, that you can celebrate the hobby or whatever. And with them just totally leaving the Mortals out, it feels kind of tainted for me, right? It's like, now instead of being super excited, it's like, man, we got, kind of humped over. The other thing is, if you took the stuff that was going to be like use the resources that you would normally use to do a Slaanesh Mortal line, and instead put that in Warcry, that feels really bad, because if it's Slaanesh specific, it will feel less bad, but it still feels pretty bad to me. It feels like you're taking something that we should have gotten and putting it somewhere else just so you can make extra money. That's a bit business wise, maybe that's a great decision, but as far as your customers feel, the whatever percent that play Slaanesh probably aren't going to like that decision very much. And that gets to the real point of what I'm trying to say here. And I know I'm rambling. Is that so at some point they made the decision that they weren't going to include any Mortals in this release. So that was a conversation between some group of people at GW. And this is where my concern is. And it's not just about the Slaanesh release, because I feel like we've had some other things that have been kind of like similar to this. When they made that decision, they knew, well, two things. One, they knew that some people were going to be upset, right? Some percentage of their customer base is not going to like this decision. It's going to be bad for them, right? So either A, they knew that, which I'm guessing they did, or B, they're oblivious to that, which I don't believe is true, but that's even worse, right? So we're going to assume that they realize that some people were going to be upset. So what was the conversation they had at that point? Was it, well, we're going to give them some other stuff later, they'll be fine, or was it, we don't really care what they think as long as they buy the models? Or I mean, that's the conversation that I wish we had some kind of window into. Is what do you sometimes maybe you have to make a decision like this, and what is that decision, and how do you make it? I don't know. Right now it feels like that decision was made about selling more models, right, and not about how the customers would feel about it. And maybe that, like I said, maybe that's why they're doing better business wise now. I don't know, but it just feels bad to the players. And so anyway, now that I've been rambling for a while here, some suggestions that I think they might consider for in the future. There's obviously going to be some kind of Warcry release that's at least usable with Slaanesh. I mean, why didn't you preview that before this? So then you could say, like, hey, there's no new models. We didn't do a specific Slaanesh Mortal release, but hey, here's the Warcry stuff, that we previewed last week or last month, and it's, going to be great or whatever. Or something, or say, or just come out and say, hey, you know what, Slaanesh Mortals are gonna get some love here with Warcry, or whatever. Try to do some damage mitigation. Or what, really, even if they would have just given us one hero, like give us a hero, even if it's a resculpt of something they've already done in the past, and say, hey, here's your mortal hero, and then everyone would be like, oh well, we'll probably get mortal stuff in Warcry, and everything will be okay. But instead, it's kind of like, we'll just release this now, and whenever we get around to the mortals, it's fine. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just all in my feelings still. But what do you guys think, especially about the the expectation management part? Because that's something that I kind of feel like. I wish GW was a little bit more aware of, right? Kind of what are your fans expecting? When I say fans, I should say customers. What are your customers expecting? And what are you delivering? And how do you manage those expectations if you know that you're not going to deliver what they want? Or if you're going to deliver things in a way that they're going to feel like they're not getting what they want? Do you manage that, or do you just say, hey, they're going to spend the money anyway, so why even bother? Just they'll figure it out. And to me, that is not a good feeling, right? If that's the way they're going about it. But anyway, I'm pretty bummed out. I'm not going to lie. I'm trying to turn the corner. The Keeper of Secrets is great. I'm sure the Battle Tome is fine. I'm sure the rules are fine. It's just, it feels like the army I've been waiting for got released, but I didn't get an army. So, like I said, trying to stay positive. That's why I did these two videos. I mean, if you listen to the Low Road video, it it's pretty raw and unfiltered, but it was, just kind of a vent session, and also, there was some humor there too. So, anyway, thanks for listening to me complain and whine. And hopefully Slaanesh will get some more love here in the future. So that's all I got for tonight. Just wanted to kind of get this off my chest. So thanks, you two guys that are out there listening to this. I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.